Chris here with High Seas Cruising, and welcome to today's video. All right, I got some very important news I want to make sure I share with everybody because believe it or not, we have a crack in a bridge that can possibly affect an upcoming cruise. How about that? So the cruise port that I am talking about is Galveston, Texas. So you may know or you may not already know, but Galveston itself is an island. The main roadway that goes from Texas into Galveston, which of course is still Texas, but that goes across the water, is the Causeway, and they have discovered a crack in the Causeway Bridge, and because of that, they have reduced it down to one lane of traffic while they are making repairs on the Causeway itself. So what used to be basically a 10-minute trip across the Causeway to get into Galveston itself is now taking upwards of 90 minutes during peak traffic times. Now, combine that with the fact that the highway that is between Houston and Galveston is called the I-45, and that road has been under construction for about as long as I can remember. At least that's how it feels. And with the construction going on I-45 and the construction going on the Galveston Causeway, trips between Houston and Galveston itself can now take hours longer than they used to, again, during peak travel times. So why is this important to cruising? And why does this have the possibility of affecting your upcoming cruise? Because if you, let's say, for example, fly in the morning of your cruise, and you're going to take either an Uber, airport shuttle, rent a car, whatever the case may be, and drive from Houston to Galveston, well, what you think is just going to be a couple-hour trip can suddenly turn into 7-8 hour trip. If you're flying in the morning of, you see where that could possibly affect your cruise. And if you drive in the morning of, you could still have the very same issue because whether you're flying, whether you're driving, however you're getting to Galveston, you're still going to need to go over that causeway unless you know the two back ways into Galveston. Now, the locals, they're going to know those. If you're coming from the west, you can go in through Surfside. If you're coming through the east, you can ride across on the ferry. But both of those can still add time to any trip, especially if you're coming from like the Houston area because you flew in or you're not familiar with all the back roads in Texas. So if you have any upcoming cruise between now and September 24th, which is the estimated date for completion of these repairs, you need to make sure you are giving yourself hours of extra time to get to your cruise ship so that you don't get stuck in this traffic and you don't miss the boat. Now, Carnival Cruise Lines is being proactive about this, and they have sent out an email to passengers who are booked on upcoming cruises, letting them know of these delays. And I'm going to go ahead and put that up on the screen here for you now. Now, this was sent to a Carnival Breeze passenger. However, keep in mind, it doesn't matter what Carnival ship. It actually doesn't even matter what cruise ship, whether it's Carnival or Royal Caribbean. Those are the two that are going to be sailing out of Galveston during this time period. So it can apply to any cruise leaving out of Galveston. It just so happens that Carnival is being proactive with their guests as far as sending out this email. It says, "Dear Carnival Breeze guest, construction work is taking place along I-45 from Houston to Galveston, including the Galveston Causeway. This is resulting in lane closures and heavier than normal traffic times. Please allow ample time to commute to the cruise terminal for arrival within your pre-selected arrival appointment. The Texas Department of Transportation is recommending that drivers travel with a full tank of gas, snacks, and water, as the drive from Houston to Galveston could take several hours during peak travel times, and the commute over the bridge to Galveston may take upwards of 40 minutes. It is also recommended that for air travel, the potential for longer than expected drive times be factored in for both your inbound and return flights. If you have flexibility with your airline tickets, you should consider your option. For guests who have purchased Carnival's transfer services, please note that due to expected traffic conditions, our transfer times may be impacted. We will remain in close contact with our transportation provider throughout the embarkation day. As we continue to manage the impact of this construction, we might need to adjust check-in times. Future updates will be communicated via text, so please promptly opt in for text alerts by texting CCL1 to 278473, which spells cruise, so that you will be notified of any changes or important information. While your drive to Galveston might be longer than usual, we can't wait to welcome you on board for a fun and memorable cruise vacation. All right, and again, this applies to any cruise sailing out of Galveston here over the next several months. If at all possible, go in the day ahead of time. I know that is a normal cruise tip. It is a normal cruise recommendation to always get to the cruise port a day ahead. If you have any upcoming sailings out of Galveston and you do not normally get to the cruise port a day ahead of time, this is something you may want to reconsider, because you get stuck in this traffic where they're recommending that you got a full tank of gas and water and snacks. To me, implies you could be in traffic for way longer than you expected. You could get stuck way longer than you expected. And if you've given yourself just, a tiny window to get to your arrival time, and let's say you have one of the late arrivals and you get delayed by a couple hours, you really have the possibility of missing your departure altogether. So I highly recommend everybody go the day before if you have any upcoming cruises in Galveston, because this is going to be a pain in the rear end to get in and out of that cruise port until they get this fixed. All right, I hope you have enjoyed today's cruise news video. If you have, do me a favor, give it a thumbs up. Have yourself a great day, and like always, we will see you out on the high seas.